no choice but to succeed. I can feel it. I'm ready. I'm unstoppable. Hard work all day. Go hard always.
The following program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you so know it. That it does not matter who the host is. What matters is who the listeners are. Anyways, how are you? I hope everything is good and grand. I hope everything is good and grand. That people are going to be like, what? Yeah, I only showed up for one day. Anyways, today is Monday, August the 21st of 2023, day 233rd of the year. That's 233rd of the year, and only 132 days left to go. So anyways, I hope everything's good, grand, inside of the neck of the woods. Anyways, we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other station as we are coming across the multiverse here at Safety FM. We're hanging out with those people over there.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Oh, so a lot of time has corresponded since we last hung out, that's for sure. So we got a lot of stuff to cover, a lot of things to look into, a lot of things to go. Let's linger on the finger and see exactly what is happening. So, I don't even know where to start because there's so much information to cover about. What I have to say is, I guess starting is that, listen, there is life and there are shows and there's life and shows and life. And sometimes I had to take a pause for the cause. And that's exactly what happened. Ended up getting tied up in some work things, if I'm being direct and probably overly honest, accident investigation that led to a fatality. And had to go and had to vanish. So I was gone. So that's why I was not here last week. So just some information purposes so you to know what exactly is going on. Because, I try to keep it 100 in regards of when we talk and what is going on. So that was what happened. And then I got back in. I have to tell you, when you do some of these weird investigations, you never know how you're going to respond afterwards. And I had a weird reaction to the response of the investigation. It's just really what it is, and that's how we got here. But let's not bore you too much with some of that stuff. Let's get into why you're here, because we are a show that talks about safety in the news and safety. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about all that kind of stuff. We're going to go into all of the weird stories and all of the stuff that we need to go into, talk about, and everything along those linos. So as we get into it, let's start talking right away about what the hell was trending, because I'm sure we have a lot of those.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so when I look at the trends of the ends over the weekend, find out if you're an 818 or more or a 301. We'll talk about that as we get into the hit list. And things are getting contentious between Britney Spears and her future ex. So just so you know there. And then what else? A guy that ties the original Snow White instead of her drawers has harsh words for the new woke remake, which I'm sure we'll have something about that. And he married into a family of Australian mobsters. We'll talk about that. And then King Charles has some major meetings in the works. So a lot of stuff going on right there. Oh, so there you go. So if you're not familiar with our show, we talk about safety in the news and safety. It's just kind of what we do, and we've done it that way for some time. So we are going to bring in some professional broadcasters for them to tell you what the hell is going on behind the news desk because, hey, why would you not have it in that format? So there you go. Some things going on right there for sure. So with that being said, I'll bring in the professional broadcasters. If you want to interact with the show, all you have to do is go to call-in radio. By the way, we are broadcasting as live can be because we are 6 minutes into the hour already. Yes, it is. We are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios. I guess I forgot to mention that portion, yeah. This is about as live as it gets around here. So callinradio.com puts you into our system, and we get everything moving and grooving. So simple process in regards of doing so. So with that being said, I have Michael Kastner waiting at the desk, and I think we should probably talk about what the hell is going on inside of the world of the news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. No longer a tropical storm. The National Hurricane Center has downgraded Hillary to a post-tropical cyclone as it brings historic rainfall to the southwest. The last check, Hillary's maximum sustained winds have fallen to 35 miles per hour. Kids in Los Angeles public schools are getting the day off. Trey Thomas reports.
Officials in Los Angeles say classes in the second largest school district in the country will be canceled out of an abundance of caution. Hillary is currently slamming L.A. with historic rainfall, and the schools cannot be inspected after the peak of the storm overnight before classes in the morning.
The head of the Federal Emergency Management Agency says there are numerous possible reasons why so many are still unaccounted for from the Maui wildfire. Deanne Criswell said on CNN's State of the Union that other agencies, including the FBI and Department of Defense, have been brought in to help account for the missing.
To help identify and also reunify people that may be in shelters, may have gone somewhere else, making sure that we can work together to identify who is still unaccounted for, where people are.
Criswell didn't go into details about those unaccounted for, but did say 78% of the search has been completed. She and President Biden are scheduled to visit Hawaii today. 3 people were killed, 6 wounded in a mass shooting at a Seattle hookah lounge Sunday morning. Seattle Police Chief Adrian Diaz says 2 men died at the scene and a woman died at a hospital. They don't know what led to the shooting.
We recovered 5 guns, so we are still trying to figure out who was in possession of those guns, who was shooting.
Diaz says shootings are up this year and the police have recovered over 4,000 shell casings. Of the 6 people who were injured, 5 are in satisfactory condition and 1 person is in critical condition. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
From FSN in London, I'm Nina Maria Potts with the latest world headlines. Millions in America's southwest are facing severe floods as Tropical Storm Hillary powers its way through. About 30,000 homes have been ordered to evacuate in Canada's British Columbia province, with some 400 wildfires raging and devastating the region. And in Ecuador, which has seen 3 political killings in a month, and Sunday's election went off peacefully with left-wing Luisa Gonzalez leading the field.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Aftershocks continue after a magnitude 5.1 earthquake in Ventura County. This man says it jolted him awake.
I was sleeping and then it woke me up. I was sleeping in bed, shook, and then the whole house shook.
The initial quake hit at 2:45 Sunday afternoon and was centered 4 miles southeast of Ojai. Several aftershocks hit in the following minutes, ranging from magnitudes 2.8 and 3.6. At least 5 more aftershocks were reported between 9:48 and 10:30 p.m. There have been at least 17 aftershocks in all. There are no reports of major damage. New York is fighting back against fentanyl deaths. Jacqueline Carl reports.
New Yorkers are gathering in Times Square starting at 10 a.m. a.m. for National Fentanyl Awareness Day. Organizers say all are welcome to come educate themselves about the fentanyl crisis. They'll be distributing an over-the-counter naloxone nasal spray the FDA recently approved, which can reverse the effects of an opioid overdose or poisoning in adults and children. There's also an event in Brooklyn at an NYPD youth center Monday night.
An animal you'd be more likely to find in Australia was rescued from the Coney Island boardwalk in New York. Jonathan O'Halloran reports.
The NYPD responded to reports of a person strolling down the boardwalk with a wallaby Friday night. Members of the 60th Precinct arrived and found the exotic animal with its presumed owner, a sight to see for New Yorkers, but wallabies are illegal to own in most states, including New York. The animal was taken to the Animal Care Center of New York City.
Elon Musk says X users will no longer be able to block accounts except for in private messages. The owner of the social media platform, formerly called Twitter, posted over the weekend that he was eliminating the safety feature. He didn't give a reason, but did note that the mute function will continue to be available. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Well, you know that here at Safety FM and Radio Big, we're always trying to look for life hacks. So with the busy season just around the corner, you might be looking for wholesome, convenient meals for your jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kits, can help you fuel up with fast chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, and ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle. Refresh your healthy habits without missing a beat. Choose from 34 weekly flavored packs. Dietitian-approved meals ready to eat in 2 minutes. All you need to do is head over to factorsmeals.com/safetyfm50 and use code safetyfm50 to get 50% off. That's code safetyfm50 at factormeals.com/safetyfm50 to get 50% off. Go there. Do it now.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, grown-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And, with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have any body to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. BIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. BIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with BIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take BIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
Oh, yes. Welcome back to the whole thing. It is 17 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Monday, because it couldn't be any lovelier. If it was more lovely, I would be in love. Maybe I am in love. I don't know. Anyway, so you got the point. Let's continue talking. I have some people telling me that the video is not working on some of the Platty Addies. Sorry, don't know what to tell you. Radio station first, podcast next, and streaming is kind of the video thing we'd like to do when it works. I mean, I guess I don't know what to say. It all goes through the same source. Sometimes it works fantastic. Sometimes it doesn't. I don't know what to say. Anyway, so let's talk about some of the stuff that's going on inside of the shit list. So a follow-up from a few weeks after Nevada's Department of Motor Vehicles recalled a license plate that someone deemed offensive. The plate owner will be allowed to keep it after all. Adam Steelman says that he has driven with GOBK 2CA, shorthand Go Back to California plate, for 20 years without trouble, but the state got in touch with him in July when a picture of it went viral on social media. They vaguely said that it was an inappropriate plate and it would need to be replaced. The reps from the DMV said that the single complaint can trigger a recall process, but only if the plate specifically goes against statutory regulations. In this case, the DMV reviewed the board, sided with sanity. So there you go. That was via KOLO. That's KOLO. So there you go. What else do we have? Anyways, Tennessee. Hold on. Before I even go into that, I mean, I don't know. Do you think the Go Back to California thing's kind of a weird one? Because listen, I saw one that this guy had that it was supposed to be Charles Lover. Charles Lover. So when you saw it, it looked like Clover. I mean, it could have meant so many different things, right? I mean, think about that for a moment. What could it have all meant?
Duh.
Anyway, so think about that. So with that being said, let's continue. A Tennessee couple hiking in Alaska were found after spending more than a week roughing it in the wilderness when they somehow managed to veer off a well-established trail. Get a load of this. Another hiker luckily, yes, luckily I say, luckily spotted them just 2 miles from where they had left their car. Authorities began looking into the disappearance when they didn't check out of their Airbnb on August the 11th. Search teams deployed helicopters, drones, dogs, ATVs to try to find them. EMS has on hand to treat them once they return to civilization, but no other details has been given. This is all via WKRN. So keep that in mind as we are talking. So some interesting stuff as it goes through the whole thingo. Anyways, keeping it in the great Soviet tradition, Russia's lunar lander failed. successfully to touch down near the moon, or failed to successfully touch down near the moon's south pole over the weekend. Instead, crash landed, losing communication with Earth. The Luna 25 mission was direct successor of Luna 24, which put the probe of the moon back in 1974. Russia's space agency is forming a committee to try to figure out what went wrong. Meanwhile, in India, space agency is expected to put on its own lander on the lunar surface in sometime this week. This is according to CNN. So what do you think? I mean, I don't know. I know nothing about lunar landers. I can barely ride a bike sometimes. So some stuff to think about there. Anyways, 2 teenage boys are on their first ever python hunt, nabbed a big one. Jack and Brendan Cronin, along with their dad Chris, were wading through a big cypress swamp when they stumbled upon a 15-foot, 6-inch, 100-pound python. They were out there searching for snakes as part of the state-sanctioned Florida Python Challenge, an annual contest that offers incentives for removing the invasive non-native species from the ecosystem. After capturing it and snapping some pictures of the giant reptile, it was killed with the standard procedures and then handed over to the state for research. As of the challenge, the group was 5 hours too late to enter their giant find. This is via CBS News Miami. So there you go. That just kind of tells you some of the stuff that occurs here in the good old state of Florida. In regards of the weirdness, because it does happen. Anyways, a Reddit thread reveals codes that bartenders use to both work-related and non-work-related issues. For example, 86 means that the product ran out, while 200 means that the customer is waiting, and 601 or 602 means bathroom break. And non-professional side, this means that an area code scale for rating attractive customers. According to the thread, the first number of the 09 is based on the person's face, attractiveness, and the second one is either would or wouldn't. And the third number is the body attractiveness. So an 818 is pretty damn attractive, while a 301 means that they are gobbling. Also, a 900 represents that a man who has hired a friend for the evening, which bartender says that it means that they'll tip big in an effort to show off. This is all via Reddit. So there you go. I mean, who knew? Who knew how weird this world got right away? So there you go. So here let's do this. Let's do this. Let me take a look at something real quick before I say let's do this. Let's talk about the box office before I do the next one, the next thing that I'm going to do. So talking about the weekend box office, let's go to 10 to 1, 1 to 10. And number 10 was The Last Voyage of the Demeter, $2.5 million. At number 9, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, $2.7 million. At number 8, Haunted Mansion with $3 million. At number 7, Talk to Me at $3.1 million. At number 6, Meg 2, The Trench, $6.7 million. At number 5 was Strays with $8.3 million. At number 4, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, $8.4 million. At number 3, Oppenheimer with $10.6 million. And at the number 2 spot, being dethroned after weeks on end, Barbie with $21.5 million. So that means we have a new one at the number 1 spot. And that one is called Blue Beetle with $25.4 million. So there you go. New number uno at the box office. Anyways, with this being said, let's bring some John Smalls inside of here and let him tell you about what the hell is going on inside of the world of the market.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Monday, August 21st. Equity markets pulled back for the third week and may pull back further this week. The ugly specter of recession is back in the picture due to persistent inflation and high odds the FOMC will increase interest rates by at least one more 25 basis point hike and possibly several. The critical element now is oil prices. They show support at higher levels than over the summer, and the supply-demand balance is tilted in favor of demand. The August PCE report, which reports on price changes in July, may not show a significant upswing in inflation due to its lagging nature, but the data for August will be hot when it's released next month. The S&P 500 is falling and will likely test support at the 150-day EMA this week. That's an important target for potential support and one that will lead to lower prices if broken. If the S&P 500 moves below the 150 150-day EMA, it could fall 5% or more before the next support level is reached. You can get the inside track at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, John Smalls, for the information. Let me tell you what I found on my end. The Dow ticked up about 25 points to close at 34,500 on Friday. The S&P was mostly flat at 4,369, and the Nasdaq lost about 26 points to close at 13,290. West Texas Intermediate closed at $81 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $84 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was at $3.86 on Sunday. And Bitcoin was trading just at 26,100s on Sunday, and there was more than 3,384 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Sunday, and more than about 1,020 cancellations. Tuesday night's Mega Million drawing will be for $33 million jackpot or a $15.8 million cash payout. Tonight's Powerball drawing will be for $291 million jackpot or a $139.6 million playout. So if you want to play the game, you have the opportunity to do so. No doubt about that. Not like the opportunity wasn't there before, but now you definitely have the opportunity to do so. Anyways, more workers are finding jobs in Commonwealth. Take a listen into what Richard Sterling has to say.
Since the start of 2022, more than 219,000 Virginians have found new jobs. That's according to new data this morning by the Bureau of Labor and Statistics local area unemployment numbers. During the month of July, nearly 18,000 Virginians found new employment. Governor Youngkin said the state is continuing to find ways to lower the cost of living for working Virginians. The unemployment rate dropped slightly in July, down to 2.5% for the Commonwealth. I'm Richard Stelling.
Okay, thank you, Richard Stelling, for that. Take a listen to this. Officials say it was the lack of security that forced the cancellation of the second day of the Taste of South Festival. Taste of South of the South co-owner Eric Harris says that the other organizers paid Denver Public Schools for the required security. Take a listen.
To tell us that the event wasn't secure when we pay you to secure the event seems kind of awkward to us. We have contracts, we have documentations.
So nearly 10,000 people attended Saturday night's event at George Washington High School. DPS Director of External Communication made a statement on Sunday saying that some in attendance for the one night felt unsafe because of all the people and so few security guards. That said, vendors say that there was no incidents, arguments, or confrontations of any kinds that they saw. So there you go. Makes it a little interesting for sure. Anyways, take a listen to this one. The National Hurricane Center has downgraded what has been Tropical Storm Hillary to post-tropical cyclone after bringing heavy rain to part of the Southwest. Meteorologist Bill Cairns has the latest.
This storm, it did exactly what we were afraid of. The wind was not a huge ordeal. We only have 50,000 people without power. It's been all about the rain, the mudslides, the landslides, the rock slides, the debris flows, the burn scar areas.
At last check, Hillary's maximum sustained winds had fallen from 35 miles per hour to storm system is one of the several hundred miles north of San Diego, passing although central Nevada in roughly 29 miles per hour. And at the rate that it's going, Hillary is the forecast to lose steam and dissipate before the end of the day. I don't even know if this is a news story, but I guess I'll talk about it because it's making the cycles, and why the hell not? It seems that Kid Rock may be over his feud with beer maker Anheuser-Busch. Here's more from Michael Kastner.
TMZ has posted photos that appear to show the singer drinking a Bud Light at Nashville's Skydeck last Thursday night. Kid Rock posted a video of himself shooting at cases of Bud Light this past April in protest of the brand's decision to partner with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney. That video and other responses led to an Anheuser-Busch boycott among many anti-trans supporters. The backlash ended up costing the company nearly $400 million in estimated U.S. sales. I'm Michael Kastner.
I don't know how that's a story, but hey, it happened, we played it, and now we get to move on. An investigation is underway after a pair of teens were killed in separate shootings in Chicago. Perry Williams has more information.
Police say 17-year-old Ashantice Wilburn was gunned down Saturday in Galewood Park in the Austin neighborhood. Her father is grief-stricken.
You took my first, my heart, my love, my everything. Over what?
Several hours later, 14-year-old Rajon Harshaw was shot and killed in the 8700 block of South Creek Gear. No arrests have been made in either shooting. I'm Perry Williams.
Okay, thank you, Perry Williams, for that. That's terrible news. Taking a listen to that story, there is no doubt about that. Take a listen to this. The Carter family is continuing to spend time side by side with former President and First Lady. More from Michael Kastner. Take a listen.
Jimmy Carter has been under hospice care at his home in Plains, Georgia, while his wife, Rosalind, has been diagnosed with dementia. She recently celebrated her 95th birthday. Their grandson, Josh Carter, told People magazine that it's clear they're in their final chapter. The Carters are the longest married presidential couple at 77 years. I'm Michael Kastner.
So there you go. That's a long marriage, man. There is no doubt about that. Congratulations to them. But man, you know, when you're going through multiple issues at the same time, boy, is that a test or what? I mean, I don't know. I get to some of these things and I start going, wow, my brain's going all over the place when I start hearing some of these stories. Let's do two more real quick. An animal that you would be more likely to find in Australia was rescued from Coney Island boardwalk. Take a listen to this.
The NYPD responded to reports of a person strolling down the boardwalk with a wallaby Friday night. Members of the 60th Precinct arrived and found the exotic animal with its presumed owner, a sight to see for New Yorkers, but wallabies are illegal to own in most states, including New York. The animal was taken to the Animal Care Center of New York City. Its owner received a summons. Jonathan O'Halloran, NBC News Radio, New York.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan, for that one. Take a listen to this. After a slow start, the Atlantic hurricane season is ramping up as the National Hurricane Center continues to monitor at least 5 storm systems. Here's more from Rebecca Hughes.
Tropical Storm Emily became the 5th named storm of the season Sunday morning. Scientists at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration changed their prediction earlier this month from a prediction of a near normal season back in May to an above normal level of activity for the ongoing Atlantic hurricane season. At this time, forecasters say it's too early to know if any of the storms they're monitoring will reach land. The Atlantic hurricane season runs through November 30th. I'm Rebecca Hughes.
Okay, thank you, Rebecca, for the information, and let's do it because it is 32 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's get into our main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, main story time, and I have to tell you, it's just one of those things that we have to talk. I mean, we don't have to talk, but maybe we should talk. Is probably the better way to put it, opposed to just saying other things. I think opposed to doing other things, maybe it's time for us to give some consideración to the world that we currently live in. Maybe it's time to give some consideration to some of the things that we don't talk about from time to time. Things that we do, things that we don't, and so on. I want you to be aware of this because it's difficult to talk about, but there are people that you and I hang out with that you don't agree with their point of view of safety. There are people that you hang out with that you don't agree with their point of view of politics. There are people that you hang out with that you don't agree with their point of view of religion, marriage. You name it, there is something that is listed inside of there that you don't agree with. Now let's flip it on to the other side. There are people that don't agree with your points of views of X, Y, and Z. And that is kind of the way that the world works. But we have gotten into this very weird space where we have decided that if you don't agree with me in my point of view, we can't be friends. We can't be acquaintances. We can't have a conversation because you have a jaded viewpoint. You have a point of view that nobody else should have. And I'm here to tell you, I'm going to say, we talk about some dark shit here. We talk about some light shit here. We talk about all kinds of weird stuff. But what we have done with this format is being a format that we notice that things are acceptable across the board. And listen, people gave me shit when we ran some stuff about Trump for a while. People gave me shit when we ran some stuff about Biden for a while. And I've always wanted to have a little bit of everything on what we do on the show. I wanted people to know that when they come to Safety FM, it is one of those things that they get to listen to a little bit of everything inside of what our station has. Listen, if you go back through some of the shows that we have here, you'll realize that they're all not one version of safety. They're not all one viewpoint in regards of religion, in regards of what's going on with politics and so on. And it's not that we take these deep dives into those things, but it's part of what we do. It's part of the fabric of what the show consists of, or the different shows that consist of on the station. And I look at this and I go, where have we gotten to that all of a sudden this has become so weird that our world, we go, we can't talk about these different things unless we agree wholeheartedly with what the other person is saying. That's just not the way that it should go. Is this not the way that things should be? So I want you to know that if you are here hanging out, that we accept everyone here, regardless of skin color, religion, race, who you're in love with, what you like doing. It's time for us to kind of accept people for the people that they are. I mean, barring some kind of illegal shit, that's it. These are the things to think about as we are talking, because that's been the very weird portion of our industry in regards to what we talk about. If people don't agree with our point of view in regards of how we see things, now all of a sudden stuff can't move forward. And I can start off from safety on. If you're behavior-based safety, you can't interact with me because I look at things from a hot point of view. You can't interact with me because, I look at it as a lean. All this weird stuff that starts happening. Why can't we just get into a conversation? Why can't we just get into a room and talk to each other and say, you're a human, I'm a human, let's interact like humans and see where we can get to. I don't ever expect to agree with somebody 100% across the board. If I do, there's probably something wrong with me. We're all jaded, fickled, and see things differently. And guess what? That's okay. It is okay to be different. It is okay not to agree with the masses. It is okay not to agree with the people that don't see things the way that you do. It's just the weirdest thing that I keep on going to organizations and it's one way and one way alone. I look at it from the standpoint of whatever belief system you have, everything got to it because it was a bolt-on. Yes, you looked at what you were, what you had, and things continued to move forward. Things continued from where you were to get to where you are now. I mean, it's almost like a stacking event. And listen, I'm not on a soapbox today, even though it feels like it. But that's what I want to talk about. I want to make sure that we understand how important this is in regards of, listen, we don't have to agree, but we need to learn how to respect each other as humans. It's a difficult thing. I mean, it becomes so difficult from time to time in regards to listening to people. I don't want to sit here and say, hey, I'm fed up. I just want you to know I'm not fed up. I just want you to know that you're welcome here. You're welcome here at Safety FM. And we accept you how you are. We want you to learn what you want to learn. You have questions, we want to go with those questions and say, hey, let's change some of these things. What are we looking for? Let's make sure that we understand these things together. The people that I have enjoyed most conversations with in my lifetime are people that I have absolutely nothing in common with. So, do something today. Acknowledge and accept someone who does not have your viewpoint. Acknowledge and accept someone who sees things differently. Just a challenge. See how it goes for you. Be a little bit more open-minded. See how life goes. Will things get better or will they not? Try it. Let me know what you think. I'd be interested.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
Prepare yourself.
We are now being distributed on iHeartRadio. Listen on iHeartRadio app. Radio Big.
Okay, let's go.
Have you ever wanted to start live streaming and were not sure how to do it? You can start live streaming up to 40 social media platforms all at one time for as little as nada. It's going to cost you your time. That is what it's going to cost. You can pre-record, you can live stream, you can do a multitude of things. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com, ONE.
I will gladly give all that it takes. Till the gas is all gone in the tank. Ain't no stopping, I'm not gonna break. Matter of fact, I'm just picking up pace. This is what I was made to do. The end is near, I'ma see it through. They all look to me, ain't got no choice but to succeed. I can feel it. I'm ready. I'm unstoppable.
Okay, let's take a look. You are still listening to the Rated R Safety Show. This is hour number 1 of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show that consists of 3 hours that you can mostly hear across Radio Big. You do get to listen to hour number 1 on Safety FM if you want to hang out, listen to that. And we are also a podcast, a cast of the pod. So there you go. This right here, Beacon Lights, Unstoppable. 46 minutes past the top of the hour. As live as we can be on this Monday. You can give it a little streamer-eamer action of this. YouTube Music, Spotify, Apple Music. There you go. You got the threesers. So thank you, Beacon Light, for allowing us to have your beacon of light with Unstoppable.
Ain't got no choice but to succeed. I can feel it.
Yep, some stuff going on right there.
I'm unstoppable. Hard work all day. Go hard.
So, some goody-goodies. Okay, so let's get back into the move and the groove of the things that we have going on, because what else would we be doing if we didn't do that? So let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that is about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. Listen, no matter what you are facing, you deserve to be connected to help. People have been where you are before, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com to find out more information. To Write Love on Her Arms. TWLOHA.com. When you get to the website, click on the section that says Find Help, and that will put you down the cycle. Down the cycle of what you need to look at. So there you go. TWLOHA.com. Listen, they have all kinds of connections there. I have to tell you, I was driving across from a little town on the outskirts of where I'm located called Titusville. And there was a sign for TWLOHA.com. I was pretty excited about it. I have to admit, I was like, wow, this is not something I had seen before. I was like, I was telling my wife and kids, I was like, maybe I should pull over and take a picture because I was so excited about it. Yeah. Anyway, so let's get into some other things because we are running out of time-o. So let's talk about some other things that are happening inside of the world because that's what we do here. So let's talk. Should we talk about the Motley Cruise? Should we talk about this? Okay, so a series of dumb robots or dumb incidents in San Francisco has prompted local officials to try to halt the recently approved expansion of self-driving taxis in the city. Since the robo-taxi expansions has got the green light on August the 10th, 10 driverless cruise taxis came to a stop and clogged the intersection near a music festival. The company said that the vehicle stopped and functioned because the concert goers overwhelmed the cell phone network, interrupting the communication. A person was injured by an autonomous cruise car that they were riding in, failed to yield on the oncoming fire truck, which was responding to an emergency, and another cruise car drove directly through a construction site, just like a cartoon, and became stuck in wet concrete. And to be fair, I've seen people do the same thing here in Orlando. So do the exact same things. I mean, it just happens. So here's the problem: they forget to install a driver. Maybe that's part of the ongoing issue. I mean, I don't know. This is going to be something that we're going to see across the board. Starting off for sure. No doubt about that. So keep that in mind. So as autonomous vehicles become more and more popular, you are going to have some issues. It's not all going to be, perfecto. If it is, let me know, because I want to sign up for a program where everything's perfect. No, I'm really saying that out loud. I want the perfect program. I've never seen one. But tell me about it. Anyways, let's continue talking a little bit more about some other things. Let me tell you about this because I don't want it to slip my mind today as we are talking. But this is on the verge of happening. We have a little over a month left. The Todd Conklin Conference. This will be taking place in Orlando, Florida. You have the chance to see Todd. You'll have the chance to hang out with Jen Long, Bob Edwards, Mark Yeston, Andrea Baker, of course, Todd Conklin, here in Orlando. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.io. That's safetyfm.io to find out some more information. Would love to see you there. It's September the 27th through the 29th. So some good times for sure. So there you go. Some information going on right there. Let's take a look around at some other things before we get you out of here and seeing what else we could talk about. U.S. Senator Chuck Grassley says that Iowa realtors tell him that mortgage rates need to drop to shake open the real estate market. Take a listen.
If you got a 30-year mortgage at 3% interest, you're not going to sell that house and go out and get a new loan for 7 or 8% interest.
Grassley says there is a sign that the change is coming. The Federal Reserve is slowing interest rate hikes, and Grassley says that Congress is slowing its spending. Grassley met with members of Iowa Association of Realtors as part of his 99-county meeting across Iowa this past week. So do you agree with him? People are not going to change anything because, hey, I already have a low interest rate. So take a listen to this. Aftershocks continue at a magnitude 5.1 earthquake that struck Ventura County. Daniel Martindale has more.
This man says the shaking jolted him awake.
I was sleeping and then it woke me up. I was sleeping in bed, shook, and then the whole house shook.
The initial earthquake hit at 2:45 Sunday afternoon and was centered 4 miles southeast of Ojai. Several aftershocks hit in the following minutes, ranging between magnitudes 2.8 and 3.6. At least 5 more aftershocks were reported between 9:48 and 10:30 p.m. There have been at least 17 aftershocks in all. Governor Gavin Newsom, who is already in Southern California monitoring the fallout from Tropical Storm Hillary, is now planning to visit Ojai.
I think it's important to get up there and to make sure everybody's safe.
There are no reports of major damage. I'm Daniel Martindale.
Okay, thank you, Daniel Martindale, for that. Take a listen to this. Denver Mayor Mike Johnson is revealing more about the plan to build tiny homes for the homeless. Cole Chandler, the mayor's senior advisor on homelessness, says that the mayor's office is asking the city council to approve $7 million for 200 of them.
We're looking to create 7 to 10 micro communities, and so that's sort of the scale that we're looking at. Basically, we're asking organizations to bid and let us know what it takes to serve these communities.
The cost includes both 70 square foot and 120 square foot homes, air conditioners, heaters for each of them, twin mattresses, bed frames, and desks. The mayor is looking to partner with contractor pallets to build the homes. The mayor has pledged to build micro communities in every council district. The Denver City Council approves the mayor's request. The tiny homes will be located initially in micro communities with plans to expand. Denver Mayor Mike Johnson says that his team is in talks to build some of the micro communities on privately held land.
It's one of the reasons why we're doing a lot of work behind the scenes right now is we don't obviously want to publicly release information about private landowner sites unless we've talked to them, gotten their feedback, and seen their openness.
So there you go. Some stuff to think about. Anyways, with that being said, let's do the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Harry. Jimmy Dean said, "I can't change the direction of the wind, but I can adjust my sails to always reach my destination." I love this quote. I actually used to have a photo of a sailboat hanging in my office, and this quote was on that photo. Now, the company I worked for at the time would pound into us, "Control the things you can control." So I actually put that under the quote as well. The company would remind us that we cannot make somebody say yes, but if we do not give them the opportunity and we don't ask for their order, we're saying no for them. So be sure to get out there and ask for their business. If you're not doing that, you're saying no for them. Give enough people the chance to work with you, and you'll get some who say yes. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Okay, thank you, John Small, for that information right there in regards of what is going on. I mean, all kinds of stuff going on. You know what I forgot to do? I thought about it the moment that I did it, but I don't know. Should we talk about this? I never know. Like, I get sometimes so mixed up in some of these things. Do we want to do this? Yeah, let's do the health beat real quick. Let's do that. Take a listen.
Multiple outbreaks of foodborne illnesses have a new strain of E. coli to blame. CDC researchers say a strain associated with leafy greens is the source of ongoing illnesses since late 2016. They analyzed the bacteria from a major outbreak in 2019 that caused 167 cases of food poisoning. It found that the strain has a mutation that could give it an advantage in environments with increased arsenic levels in soil and water. An expert is offering advice for parents packing their child's brown bag school lunch.
Maybe number one on that list ought to be nutrition.
Sandy Proctor, a nutrition specialist with the Kansas State University Extension Program, says striking the right balance in your child's meals can help them perform better in school.
Aim for 1 or 2 servings of a whole grain, 2 to 3 ounces of a lean meat or protein, and 2 servings of a fruit or fruit and vegetable.
Health Updates, Sarah Lee Kessler, NBC News Radio.
Pop quiz hotshot. During a heat wave, what's more important, air conditioning or air guitar?
Is it air conditioning?
Air guitar. The answer is always air guitar.
Duh, the answer is always air guitar. Anyways, let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 1993, NASA unexpectedly loses contact with the Mars Observer, which was scheduled to orbit Mars and completely map the planet. Commissions later concluded that the fuel pressurization tank ruptured, causing the spacecraft to spin out of control. So there you go. Anyways, let's talk about some birthdays for today. Alex Cooper, yes, from the podcast host for Call Her Daddy, 29 years old. Mike Evans, 30. Jesse Rutherbound, 32. Let's skip around to some. Brody Jenner turns 40. Kim Cattrall turns 67. And Loretta Devine turns 74 today. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, I have some of those for you as well. So let's take a look-see. It's National Spumoni Day, Poets Day, and National Senior Citizens Day. I guess that's one to take a look at in regards of what's going on. Also, what else do we have for you? If you need a random joke for today, I have one of those. My job is super confidential. As a result, I have no clue what I'm doing. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. Describe your ex using a movie title. If you need a question for the water cooler, try this. 53% of us say that this person changed their lives for the better. Who is it? A teacher. So there you go. That's it. So that's it. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'll be going over to Radio Big .fm for the next couple hours or so if you want to come and hang out with me and do the things that we do on that side of the house. If not, you can keep it locked right here on Safety FM and take a listen to what Sheldon Primus has to say with the business of safety consulting. So there you go. Some stuff going on right there as we are speaking. Anyways, if you do need a deep thought for today, I have one of those for you. We're not here to see through each other. We're here to see each other through. Keep that in mind. Thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, it doesn't make a lot of sense to do what we do around here. I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
The end is near, I'ma see it through. They all look to me, ain't got no choice but to succeed. I can feel it, I'm ready. I'm unstoppable.